But Danny, what was your response? I'm sorry. Is God responsible for these things?
He's not responsible for evil.
He's not responsible for it. Why?
Because he's not. He's all good.
Okay. Why isn't he responsible for evil, though?
Because due to free will, or a conversation we were having earlier, evil is because God, out of love, he created a free agent creatures to have communion with, and those agents, free will agents, like you and me, the angels, they can choose whether to have that or have God or have themselves.
Okay. And if they have themselves, we would say that that's evil.
Yeah. So the thing is, when God created this, God created.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking
framework.
for an agreement or a disagreement with what I just said. Would you say that when people don't choose God, that would be them choosing evil?
Self will always lead to evil.
Okay. So who is responsible for giving mankind free will?
God is.
Okay. And free will is the choice between good and evil?
No, free will allows you either to choose to go to the way of evil or to the way of goodness.
Okay.
So
So
love
it's a choice
requires
between
free
good
will.
and evil?
Love requires free will. Relationship
Okay.
requires free will.
I'm not asking what love requires. I'm asking, does free will, is that a choice between good and evil?
Yes.
Okay. And God's the one that's responsible for giving that to us?
No.
And so
in itself, free will is not evil.
sounds
The
pretty
way you
evil to me.
choose.
If it means that you get to choose evil, right, as a result of that, and God's responsible for that, then God is responsible for people choosing evil. Why? Because he made it a choice for us, per your own words.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, so who gave us that choice?
God gave us the free will,
So God gave us that choice?
ability to
Okay.
choose.
Who gave us the
All right.
ability to choose evil?
God made us free agents. So that
What's the
means
question
if we are
that I
able,
asked you, though, Danny? Who gave us the ability to choose evil?
God, what do you mean? God, the way
God,
that you're
right?
framing the question, if
I'm
I can interject,
regurgitating your
if you would
own
allow
words
me,
back to you. You said that
if
God
you would
gave us
allow
this
me,
ability. So I just
if
want
you
to
would,
clarify that God gave us the ability to choose evil, right?
okay, let me
Am
say
I
it to
right
you
or am
then.
I wrong, Danny?
God gave us
The
the
ability
ability
to
to
choose
choose
evil.
good, to choose good.
And
I
to
would say to
choose
choose good.
evil, right, Danny?
Okay, and to choose evil. So that's the
Cool.
thing.
So
God
fantastic,
gave
Danny.
us the ability to choose.
Yeah, to choose evil as well. So God gave us the ability to choose evil. And did God know that we would choose evil?
So
Hello?
for us, you see, here's the thing. When God created the first two humans, there was no evil.
I bet you he doesn't answer my question. I bet you $100 he doesn't answer it.
Well, answer what question?
See? He doesn't even know. All right. I'll ask it again, Danny, okay? Because I 100% want to make sure that you understand, okay? Because so far, we're to the point where God gives us the ability to choose evil. And my question is, does God know that we're going to do evil?
Five minutes later.
God knows that we have the capacity of choosing evil.
Does God know that we will choose evil, Danny?
2,000 years
No, here's the
later.
thing. Here's the thing. Here's the
Bet
thing.
you he doesn't answer
If
it.
you are, if you haven't seen, if your nature is sinful, you know, by default, if your nature is sinful, what you will choose is evil. What you will end up choosing at the end is evil. At the
Danny,
end of
what's
time.
the question that I'm asking you?
Well, it's obvious you're asking me that. Does God know that we would choose evil?
Exactly. And your
That's what
answer
we
is either yes, he knows, no, he doesn't know, or I don't know.
He knows the capacity of us.
Am I asking about the capacity?
You're very like restricting the question. Yes,
I
you
know.
are. You're
It's a very
restricting the question.
You want to know why? It's a very specific question.
And you're not
It's
allowing.
It's a very specific question, so that way I can get a specific answer to make my point. Right?
What is your point? Just make your point. I would have you rather make your point.
Well, my point is contingent on you answering the question, right? Because I need to know if God is all-knowing. Do you believe that God is all-knowing, Danny?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so not only does God know the possibilities, but does he know the outcome of these possibilities, Danny?
Yes, he does.
Fantastic. So God knows that we will choose evil, right? I'm not sure why that's so difficult for you to answer, but God knows that we will choose evil. So God
What is evil? Explain evil.
Well, you and I both agree that evil exists, and we would say that evil is a negation from what God desires. So when we talk about anything evil, you can define it, I can define it, but in all circumstances, God would be responsible for it.
For example, if you say, according to your explanation right now, let's say if God desires for us to have children, marry and have children, and if we don't do that, by your argument that we are choosing evil.
That's not what I said.
What is it that you're saying?
Yeah, I definitely didn't say that. I just said anything that's in opposition to God's goodness.
Okay, God's goodness.
Would you disagree with that?
Now you're making sense. So the goodness of God.
So would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
Fantastic.
Against God's goodness.
So if you're saying that there is such a thing as God's goodness, which would most likely align with his will, and we understand that the negation of that, at least per your paradigm, would be evil, right? We know that God is responsible for giving us these options, for creating free will and giving us the option to do evil. And he knows that we will. He knows that we will even before he creates us. So we would say that God is responsible for evil coming into existence because of the things that he is responsible for within that scenario. Okay. Which part of that is incorrect, Danny?
So here's the thing. Saying that anything
against...
What do you mean you can't tell me? I'm barely starting.
I just asked you which part of that is incorrect. And I'm guaranteeing that you cannot tell me which part of that is incorrect.
Let me help Danny.
I'm about
hold on one second.
If you would let me, then that would be great.
Please
First,
proceed.
You're saying everything, the way you framed it, I'm going to poke holes on that, if you would allow me.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so every will you say against his will, if we choose, that is evil. That's what you're saying.
Every will against his will is evil?
The things, the desired will of God. You said the desired will of God is in his goodness.
I said evil is in opposition to God's goodness. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I disagree.
Okay, what would you define evil as?
It's not in up.
Because 2 seconds ago you did agree.
Okay, if you say anything that is in opposition of God's goodness, I would agree. Yeah, I would digress. I would agree with
Fantastic.
that.
So where's the holes that you're going to poke in that?
No, you said,
Good
and the
morning,
way you
Pumpkin.
framed it is very strict.
That's what definitions are.
No, here's the thing. There is perfect will of God, and there is permissible will of God.
Sure.
For example, there is something, as free agents, there is things that God allow us to exercise using our free will.
Sure.
Which it's like he lets us in the playground and he lets us choose whatever we want.
So him being permissive towards our will, God is responsible for that.
Yes.
Great. So God is responsible for things like evil coming into existence because he allows for it to come into existence. And in fact, he plans for it.
And he plans. Okay, go on.
Mm-hmm. That's my statement. He's responsible for it because he allows for it and he plans for it.
He
Thank you,
definitely.
I'm now an atheist.
God allowed for all of this to happen.
Hold on, sun goddess. I'm going to stick you on mute for a second. Go ahead, Dani.
God allowed for all of this to happen. All of this, since from the beginning until the end. As we are right now.
Without him allowing it, it wouldn't happen, right?
No, of course it wouldn't happen.
Cool. So because he allows it and it happens, he's responsible for the things that he allows. Okay.
So here's the thing. He is responsible. If you put it in that frame, God is responsible for that.
Sorry.
God is responsible for that matter. So would you say that God would hold himself accountable for all of that?
Sure. And I think you would say that he does, but I don't see any evidence of that yet.
Have you heard about the cross of the Lord Jesus Christ?
I don't think that anything changed because Jesus came and died on a piece of wood.
Or that's the thing. The Bible says to those who believe the cross is the power of God unto salvation, to save. The whole power of God. There is a great So here's the thing. Hold
on, Dani. I want to agree to something before you start evangelizing to me. Would we agree that God is responsible for evil?
No.
Okay, hold on, band. Please stay muted, band and sun goddess. I appreciate it. Would we agree that God is responsible for something like evil, Dani? If we're going to say that God is taking responsibility for the evil, then we have to first recognize that he's responsible for it. And so can we answer that?
No, he's not.
Okay, how is he not, given what I just presented to you?
Here's the thing. He created creatures with free agents with a potential in a perfect plane of existence.
Does potential matter if you know the outcome?
That's something else, but here's the thing. Let me finish.
What's the answer to that question?
God created perfect creatures in a perfect plane with no evil, as free agents.
I need you to answer that. So, does potential matter when you know the outcome?
So the thing is, when you ask that question, you have to be fair because God knew that would come about. He prepared the cross. He prepared Jesus Christ. He appointed him from the foundation of the world.
Does potential matter when you know the outcome, Dani? Does potential matter?
Listen, if you want to put God in court.
Damn, Dani.
And
Dani, why are you running from my questions, Dani? How are we going to have a productive conversation if every time I ask you a question, you just keep running from it? Like, what kind of honest conversation can we have, right? Every time I ask you a question about free will, I ask you a question about what God creates, what God allows, what God permits. And every single time you're dodging every single question, right? You came onto a show that's called Questions for Christians, and then you refuse to answer. I'm not sure what kind of conversation we can have moving forward, Dani.
And that's fine.
Okay. So are you all done answering questions, Dani? Are you all done talking?